Hello guys.
What we're missing, chat.
Hello, hello, hello. There we go. Move this camera a tiny little bit. On button. Evening everyone. How are you? Hello Jim. Hope you've had a nice weekend. It's been pretty nice weather here in Scotland actually today, so I'm on the 5th. I'm doing the edge highlighting to the 5th guy with a Thunderhammer. And boy will be I happy when this guy's edge highlighting is finished. Kind of done his legs. So I'm mainly going to be working on his upper body, and then I'm going to be doing some washes. And then I'm going to be finished these 5 Death Company. I am either going to do Chain Fist Terminators or Laser Destroyer after this, I think. And I'm not entirely sure which order I might do those in. Both are obviously like half finished, because all my stuff is always like half finished. So that's kind of where I am. What are you guys working on tonight? It's been kind of a crazy week for me. I mean, it's kind of hard to make content at the moment about 9th edition when 9th edition has like one week left, I guess, maybe a couple of weeks left. So might get like a final game of 9th edition this week, and I've made the video, I've finished the video about the Leviathan box and like my recommendation on how you should use it, should you buy it for Blood Angels, so that'll come out this week as well. So a couple of videos come out this week. What's happening though? James, good evening, how are you? I was going to say cutting your lawn right now? Yeah, I basically told my wife I don't cut the lawn anymore. She's been taking over that. I think it's because I let it grow too long and then she gets frustrated, so maybe that's what you need to do. Just let the lawn grow too long, wife will get frustrated and then you never have to cut the lawn again. She'll do it. Not that it's that big a deal cutting the lawn, I guess, but out of it, I'll probably get out of it. Still waiting on my Dante. So, still don't know when he's coming, still don't even know if Element Games have any Dantes in stock. Every time I look at it, it just gets pushed back. A little bit frustrating, but it is what it is, I guess. I've got a few people telling me that they can help me out get a Dante, so maybe this week, if Element Games doesn't get their act together in a few days, maybe I'll just get someone to help me out and actually get a Dante. I didn't think it was going to take this long, honestly. I had the same issue with my... he had the same issue with my father. I'll happily cut the lawn for him, but he wants to cut it every week. Yeah, I mean, my wife wants to cut it every like 2 weeks, and the lawn's giant. I was like, I would cut it like once a month, at max. Like, it takes like probably a good 2.5 hours to cut the lawn. I ain't doing that every week. That's crazy. Oh well, if I've got out of it now, I'm happy. It's not like I love cutting the lawn, right? It's like a necessity. Last time you were at your local game, like I've heard loads of stories now of people going to like local stores and seeing multiple Dantes. I don't know why I think I've just been like really statistically unlucky or something. So yeah, if Element Games don't have them by like Wednesday, I'm gonna probably try and get them from somewhere else. Because it's kind of taking too long, I guess. I think I contacted Element this week and they basically said like it's not their fault, it's Games Workshop or like not even letting them reorder it or something. I was like, how can they not? Why are they not letting their retailers reorder it when there's obviously hundreds? I think the rumor I've heard is that Games Workshop are trying to make sure there's loads of stock of the 10th edition box set, which is cool and all, but like, you know, I also saw some guys on Twitter saying that they weren't like, they've been waiting forever to get the Lion and they can't get him either. So. Good evening, Marius. How you doing? Did you win Golden Demon today? I saw on Twitter. I was out for ages today. We decided to go to the other side of town with both kids, and we decided to walk because we were trying to be healthy. What that ended up being was like it's like 3.5 miles to get to the other side of town, but like because we had both kids with us, like a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, it took us 5 hours. So I think in the future, if we want to go to the other side of town, we'll maybe not make, like, as much as we're trying to be healthy, we'll maybe do a smaller walk. Because, like, we went out at 10:30, completely, like, missed lunch. Basically, by the time we got home, it was, like, time to just do dinner. Or to do an early dinner, I guess. So, yeah, we're out for, like, well, I was gonna say, I think we were out for more than 5 hours, but we were walking for 5 hours because my app doesn't record when you're like standing still or whatever. So yeah, we were out for 5 hours. Hey Anthony, good evening. But I have a lot of steps today. Yeah, look, I got lots of steps today. 18,816, which is not bad when you get 2 really young kids. It's hard to stay healthy and do exercise, so. Because they just need you all the time, right? Games Workshop is sold through their factory stock, I bet. Well, you can't buy Dante on the GW website, right? Because when it went like a few days and Element weren't getting him, I was like, I wonder if I can just order them on the GW website, and I was like, no, you can't order Dante on the GW website, it just says out of stock. So I guess some places have stock and then other places just have no stock, and if you're one of the places that has no stock, then you aren't getting any stock. At least that's what it seems to be like. So anyway, yeah, Marius, did you win Golden Demon or did you get anything? How did you get on? Or it wasn't quite Golden Demon, was it? It was Golden Troll, I think, right? The competition was tough. Yeah, I mean, competition's always tough in painting competitions. That's usually why I don't enter. I've been to a few events where people have been like, your painting's really good, and I was like, yeah, it's not that good. Like, you should enter your army for best painted, and I was like, nah. Usually when I go to tournaments, there's usually like 1 or 2 units that are like just battle ready as well, because I mean, I've been to a couple of tournaments where I ran these Death Company, and these guys were not even close to finished by my standard when I ran them. Well, good for you for entering, though. I think it's good to. I might enter best painted army at some point. If I ever go to a tournament where all my guys are painted, and like all painted and all transferred, and I'm happy with them all, I'll get there eventually, I guess. I'm wondering if I need to paint 2 Land Raiders though for like for 10th edition. I feel like Land Raiders are going to be good, but I don't know if they're going to be, like, I don't know if we're desperately going to need Land Raiders. I feel like they might be good, but I think there could be a chance where maybe you want a list with Land Raiders, but maybe you also want a list without. You're converting Morgan Val into Librarian Dreadnought. That sounds pretty cool. A lot of people have done conversions on Librarian Dreadnoughts. My one was the Custodes Dreadnought works pretty well as the Librarian Dreadnought. That's what I basically ended up turning into my version of Roboute Guilliman, was a Dreadnought that was a Custodes Dreadnought that was, I was going to say, it was essentially being converted into a Librarian Dreadnought. And then I just pivoted and converted it into Roboute Guilliman. The answer is, do you need 2 Land Raiders? The answer is yes. I mean, my question as well is, like, do I need 2 Ball Predators? Because I want to, like, my Land Raiders are not half painted. They are a quarter painted at best. My Ball Predators are not half painted. They are also a quarter painted at best. Do I want both the Ball Predators and the Land Raider finished for 10th edition? Yes. Will they both be finished in time? No. But I guess I'll just continue to work on them over time, right? And we'll see how we get on. Evening, Bad Francis. How are you? Where's Dante? I don't know. I mean, I ordered him like over a month and a half ago. I ordered Dante. Where is he? I mean, it's not that, like, at the moment it's not that big a deal because I've got a few squads of guys in the midst of that I want to finish for 10th edition anyway. But as we sort of start edging closer and closer to 10th, it does become a big deal, because if Dante's the best character to have as your warlord in 10th, which he could be, it's going to be very annoying if I don't have him, despite pre-ordering him on the day of pre-order. Right, like I said this a couple of times ago, I had family stuff planned on the day that he went on pre-order, and I basically made my whole family wait while I got the pre-order done. Which in hindsight seems like a right idiotic thing to do, because I guess pre-ordering it meant shit. Literally didn't mean anything. But yeah, I mean, Tony was saying on the grot, pre-ordering isn't pre-order, like, it's just pay for it early. It doesn't guarantee that you get it or anything like that, right? So it's a bit frustrating. War Thunder is going to get 2 Land Raiders, but I'm in mind which mod will make the Blood Angels. I haven't quite worked out what I think is going to be the best Land Raider. I think it's possibly going to be just I actually think it might be the Proteus, actually, because it's got that heavy armor. I don't know if many people have a Proteus though. Like, could you proxy it as a Proteus? I know Tony's got one, he was painting it this week, but the Proteus might be the best choice for a Land Raider for the new rules, honestly. But yeah, if you don't have a Proteus, maybe just like the regular Land Raider is going to be the best choice. One with the las cannons and the heavy bolters, right? Well, they're not las cannons anymore, they are Godhammer las cannons, I believe. What's this new Dante still? Yeah, people still asking when I'm going to get Dante. Mark, who knows? I've kind of given up caring. Well, I haven't, right? Like, I want him. I really want him, but I'm annoyed. I'm so annoyed with it that I'm not caring about it, I guess, if that makes sense. So, like, I need the new Dante. I genuinely need him. But I'm cracking on with other stuff that I need to finish anyway. So, if I had him, it doesn't actually make that much... doesn't make that much odds. I still have to finish some of the squads that I want to finish for 10th edition. Thing is, when I get new Dante, I'll probably paint him in a single day. I'll just take a day off work and just get him painted, so it doesn't really affect me. As long as he comes out before 10th, as long as I get them before 10th, I suppose. Can't take another month, can it? Can it? Can you run a Proteus in 40k? You can, yeah. It might not have rules at the very start of 10th edition, because they said that you might have to wait a little while for the Forge World rules, but it probably will have rules before too long, right? I think a lot of places took more orders than their allocation, because normally they can just order more stuff if they... And from my understanding is not many stores are getting much allocation these days. Like with that new Kill Team box, I think the rumor on YouTube, I mean I don't know exactly, but the rumor on YouTube was that most of the independent retailers got like 2 copies. Which is really not that many copies. You could probably use a vanilla Land Raider as a Proteus. Yeah, I mean it's got the same weapon options, right? It's still got the twin bolter, or the twin heavy bolter, and the las cannons on both sides. So I think most people would probably be okay with you paying the points if you've got the regular one and using it as a Proteus. I would be. If you're going to a tournament with it, you just check with the TO, I think. I thought the Redeemer might be an interesting choice, just because auto-hitting flamers with the new Overwatch rules might be really interesting as well. But I don't have a Redeemer. I've got a Crusader and the regular one. That's the 2 Land Raiders I have, and neither of them are finished. So for me, I believe Land Raiders are out of stock at the moment anyway, but I don't know if I would buy... Don't know if I necessarily feel like I could justify buying a 3rd Land Raider when I've got 2 of them and neither of them are finished. Where do I find those Deathwatch shoulder pads? I actually bought the Deathwatch, whatever it is, you know, like the upgrade sprue, Bad Francis? Just because I wanted to convert some of my... Just because I wanted to give some guys Deathwatch shoulder pads. Give them a little bit more flavour or something. So yeah, I just bought a Deathwatch upgrade sprue. Did it recently. You get a couple of Deathwatch Terminator shoulder pads as well on that upgrade sprue. So I just bought it literally for the shoulder pads and the Terminator shoulder pads, because I figured at some point I was going to do some Terminators with Deathwatch shoulder pads, because I thought it would be cool. The flamers are going to be fun. See, I don't know, I kind of thought that the new Infernus squad were going to be garbage. But maybe the changes to flamers, maybe their rules give them some viability? I'm not entirely sure. I figured if I bought the 10th edition box set, the units that I'm going to care the least about are the flamers. Or they're called the Infernus squad. Because I'm doing a trade with my 10th edition box. Assuming I can get the 10th edition box, I'm going to trade with someone else for the Tyranids, so I figured I would have like 2 of those Infernus squads, and I don't know if I can see myself as a Blood Angels player running Infernus squads, honestly. I just don't know how I'd feel like they match up. Hey, how you doing? I always try and do some things to make my squads different or unique. Deathwatch shoulder pads seemed like an easy win for some of the Thunderhammer wielding Death Company, because it's like... I mean, I've got a lot of Death Company models. This way, this just adds a little bit of flavour to a couple of them. How go the Blood Angels? Yeah, I mean, that's all I do, man. All the time. I get so many other games. So many other board games. But it always seems to be that I never have enough Blood Angels painted. So I always paint Blood Angels. I did notice that, like, Star Wars Shatterpoint, if anyone was following Star Wars Shatterpoint, we did do a video on the Shatterpoint over in the Grotz channel, like, what the fuck is Star Wars Shatterpoint? And I did notice that Star Wars Shatterpoint, I think your squad of guys is only 4 models. Like, if you do it, you get, like, it's like General Grievous, Count Dooku, and, like, what is it, like 2 battle droids, and that's like your whole squad. I was like, and they're bigger models, right? Like I think they must be on like 50mm bases, so they're just a bit more chunky. So I think because they're more chunky, they'll probably be quite a bit more fun to, no, maybe not more fun to paint, but I think they would be quite fun to paint because they're a bit bigger. But it is $50, right? Just for like the 4 models. But I did think to myself, I was like, you know what? I never have time to paint anything for any of the other games that I own. But if it's just 4 models, I probably could have time to paint that. And just have like a little commando squad of Shatterpoint. I don't know anything about Shatterpoint. I don't think I'm going to buy the main game, or whatever you would call it, the base game, the base set. I don't know what it's actually called, but I might buy a squad of guys for it, just so might be nice to paint something different once in a while. I've got a lot of Star Wars models that do need painted for other games, but like Legion, for example, is just like a whole other army, and like I've got the best intentions to paint my Legion forces, but I just never have time for it. We're the Angelic Blood Worshippers. I mean, we are. I'm excited to see what 10th edition is going to do to Blood Angels. I think it's possibly the most excited I've been about Blood Angels probably since the 9th edition Codex came out. Because I didn't really love our 9th edition Codex. Some people thought it was okay. I kind of disliked it. Quite a lot, I think. And we should, like, I think we might actually be getting like our faction preview this week as well, so that could be cool. If we get our faction preview, I'll do a video on it for sure. Mark's gonna try Shatterpoint next week. Let me know how it goes, Mark. If it plays really good and you really enjoy it, then give me a recommendation. If you don't like it, also tell me, because I mean I'm only gonna buy it if it's. I guess I'm only gonna buy one squad of guys if people generally think it's a good game, I guess. I have a lot of friends, like Brett plays Star Wars like almost every week. Kev plays Star Wars like almost every week. And they know I've got an army, and they always ask me like, hey, when are you gonna play Star Wars? And I was like, I don't know, I always end up doing Blood Angel stuff, so never, I guess. Never is the answer. But I feel like I could definitely paint 4 models. Good evening, Mike. How are you? Sellers is really looking forward to our faction focus. Yeah, there's a bit of a change, because they did say, like, they literally said they're not going to do a faction focus for Blood Angels, but I guess enough people moaned about it, did they? Or why did they change their minds? Because there was like a community, there was a post from the official Warhammer, I don't know what it is, like their Facebook page, that said like they weren't doing a faction focus for Blood Angels. Jim says the 8th edition Codex was better. Do you know what? The Psychic Awakening book in 8th edition was good. The one where, the one that had Mephisto on the cover. Because we weren't actually all that great in 8th edition either. I mean, I feel like we were better. Yeah, do you know what? We were better, just because you had Smash Captains that could trade up, like, ridiculously. When we used to be able to run, like, multiple 129 point Smash Captains. I think I had a Smash Captain. Well, I know. I had a Smash Captain with, like, a 4 damage Thunderhammer that basically, like, one-shot an Estrella super heavy tank. An Iron Hands one as well, I think. Which was like -1 damage maybe, and I did like, I wanted to say if it hadn't been -1 damage, I want to say my Smash Captain did like 42 wounds to it in a turn or something, and with the -1 damage he still basically, if he didn't one-shot it, I want to say he took like 24 wounds off of it or something in one round of combat. Our Stray's tank only has like 30 wounds, right? So it was basically done for in one phase of combat from one character. So yeah, we probably were just much better in 8th edition over 9th, because we had access to arguably silly rules like that. Like, I don't think they ever intended for like a 129 point character to one shot a super heavy tank, right? Apollo bought a bunch of secondhand Blood Angels, Salt Marines, Rhinos. He was going to teach you, and then he brought some giant Tyranid. Yeah. Oh well, don't worry, I'll teach you what's good for 10th edition, dude. Yeah, follow me on YouTube, because I do tactics videos every week on YouTube. And if there's certain armies you're struggling to beat or whatnot, you can ask me questions and I can help you out. But yeah, I think Blood Angels are going to be, I really hope they're going to be better in 10th than they were in 9th. I wasn't a huge fan in 9th. Some of the rulings, some of the things they did in 9th were a bit confusing, you know, like. And then we also had that, like, I don't know if you remember way back when they announced in 9th, like, I guess like the equivalent faction focus that we got in 9th edition to what they're going to do soon for 10th. They made the big deal about the Red Rampage stratagem. The Red Rampage stratagem was a 1 CP strat. You could play, what, once per game in the Assault Doctrine phase for 1 extra AP army wide on 6s. I don't think, I think maybe in the whole of 9th edition, so I don't know how many 9th edition games I played, at least a couple hundred probably, or maybe a couple hundred, at least 100 I would say. No, it's probably a couple hundred, because I went to like quite a lot of tournaments, and tournaments you can play like 6 to 8 games, right? So in a couple hundred games, I think I used that stratagem once, maybe twice. So it's like they made a big deal about the stratagem, our once per game stratagem, and it turns out our once per game stratagem was horseshit. I don't know any Blood Angels player that really said, like, you know, use Red Rampage, that's a good stratagem. I mean, we already had plenty of AP in Assault Doctrine. Maybe, I was going to say, now that Doctrines have changed, maybe we'll be crying out wanting Red Rampage, but maybe we won't have it anymore. Who knows? Sounds like it's going to be a group chapter focus. Is it going to be a group? I hope it's not a group one. I hope it's an individual one. Do you think we'll get overcharged engines for our tanks? Do we need it? That's another strat that's like not survived the test of time very well, Sellers, has it? Right? Like, does anyone play overcharged engines on the tanks? Like, I feel like it's very niche, and most of the time it's not very valuable. When are we doing some boarding actions? So basically I'm at the point where I told Mike I'm ready to pay the final bit of the commission for the boarding actions terrain. So he's had the terrain for, I don't know, a couple of months. He's at least halfway done with it now, I think, last time I checked in with him. And he is wanting to finish it, especially before 10th edition comes out, right? Because I guess he's going to be painting his own 10th edition box set, etc. So, yeah, I mean, I think Mike's in the channel. Mike, where you up? I don't want to put any pressure on you. I know he's working on it. It's a lot, the boarding actions terrain. When it's ready, like, it'll be on the channel when it's ready. It's definitely progressing. The train's bought and paid for. The commission's bought and paid for. So as soon as I have it in front of me or whatever, we will get it on the channel, right? I miss old Red Rampage. Yeah, what was old Red Rampage? It was like plus D3 attacks, wasn't it? That was one of the stratagems you had to use to make that crazy Smash Captain. It was like I'm trying to remember exactly the rulings that you used to make that old crazy Smash Captain, but you had a captain with a Thunderhammer and he joined the Death Company. So I think that gave him 5 attacks. Then you got 6 attacks from charging. You got 7 attacks if you got 7 attacks if you were an Assault Doctrine, so before that you would just have 6. You could pay Red Rampage for D3 attacks. Oh, was that it? You could honor the chapter, right, and fight twice. I think that was what made it so good. Yeah, I think that was it. Because I remember doing that with Mephiston as well. You could. That was one of the reasons Mephiston was so good in 8th edition as well, is you could fight twice for like. I think it did cost you a couple of CP, but like Mephiston could get like up to 10 or 11 attacks with quickening, and then you could just pay 2 CP to fight again. Yeah, I think that was why. I think that's what you used to do all the damage. Yeah. Do we still have Smash Captains in 10th edition? I mean, who knows? We don't know enough about 10th edition, I feel like, to answer that. Like, there's a lot of what ifs. We're gonna get these enhancements, right? Which are like warlord traits and relics, kind of like mixed together. But we've not really. I don't think they've really showed too much about enhancements. Period. Not even just like for any races or for any armies. We don't know too much about enhancements. We just know that that's going to replace like warlord traits and stuff. So yeah, I don't know if I can answer that question. As soon as 10th comes out, I'll try and get I'll try and be streaming like a bit more than normal. I'll try and make sure that I'm available to answer all questions. Like maybe we'll even do just some like QA nights, or like nights where I'm not painting and I can just focus on chat and we can just ask questions. Yeah, the Smash Captain it's essentially a build for a captain with a jump pack. Really, is what you would call a Smash Captain. And I think it was much more prevalent in 8th edition. I think as well in 8th edition the Smash Captain was kind of undercosted. Like he was like 129 points, and when you can get a character that's like 129 points, and he would just trade up every single time. And you could almost guarantee like his charge and stuff with like the 3d6 charge, and you could make it that you can't be overwatched, and yeah, there was times in 8th edition where you would actually just Forlorn Fury the Smash Captain, right? Rather than like a squad of Death Company, you just Forlorn Fury the single one model. And that was scary enough. Is anyone considering buying the Space Marine 2 tabletop? Is that like... I didn't really see all the reveal stream. I think the reveal stream was... Yeah, no, I had a conference call at work when the reveal stream was on, and then I guess that was Thursday, and I had a busy day on Thursday night. Then last night I was exhausted. I don't know why I was so tired last night, but I was exhausted last night, so I had like a very early bed for a change. So, Space Marine 2 tabletop, that is a tabletop? Like a tabletop version of the video game, or what? Is it made by a third party, or is it made by Games Workshop? Running 2 Smash Captains was fun alongside a Librarian Dreadnought. Yeah, I definitely had multiple Smash Captains in my builds, and having some of them in the Death Company. I think if I remember correctly, you were only allowed 1 captain to join the Death Company 8th edition. It's hard to remember, it's like 3 years ago. That sounds pretty cool. I noticed that there was like another Primaris Lieutenant model though, and that's the thing that was getting me. It was like, I think someone in Discord posted a photo saying that there's like 15 Primaris Lieutenants now, and not a single one has a jump pack, and I'm like, what gives? Why'd you hate Primaris models with jump packs so much, Games Workshop? Like, we need some. We're crying out for them here in the Blood Angels. What gives? Reminds me of that scene in Jane Silent Bob Strike Back when he's like, "When, Lord? When's gonna be my time?" He's like, "When are we gonna get Primaris the jump pack? When?" The new lieutenant is the model from the game. Yeah, I get that. In the game, though, we see him in the game with a jump pack, right? So why is he not allowed a jump pack on the tabletop? I think what's going to happen is when the Blood Angels Codex releases a year from now or something, I think that's when we're finally going to see some jump pack Primaris stuff. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but that's what I think. We have more lieutenants than some armies have data sheets. I mean, I guess that's correct, yeah. Why do we need so many lieutenants? It must be depressing, actually, if you play an army where you have less data sheets than... So what armies would have less data sheets than lieutenants? It would surely just be Votann, would it? Or maybe Votann and Genestealer cults? Votann actually had more than 15 units, I'm sure of it. I mean, they did have quite a few characters. There's probably... I imagine there's like 20 units in the Votann Codex at this point. It's weird they've avoided jump packs for so long. Well, I mean, it's been since 8th edition, really. I mean, I guess you could argue that Inceptors are jump units, but I really feel like Inceptors are a different type of jump unit, right? Because they're in Gravis, and they're shooting. When I talk about jump units, I really mean melee units. Like units that have the jump pack as a source of like, hey, they want to get into melee quick, right? But yeah, I mean, arguably you could say Inceptors are technically jump packs. Inquisitors, Assassins, yeah, I guess those two as well, but they're not really full armies, are they? I wonder what they're going to do with Ultramarines this edition, though, because I kind of thought it was real shitty that they didn't get a Codex last edition. Because, like, Colin, who's on my channel a lot, actually, who's playing Death Guard and Chaos Demons at the moment, he used to main Ultramarines. And, you know, he got a little bit annoyed that, like, through 9th edition, he still had stupid, like, he basically, one of his strats was like, redraw your tactical objectives cards, which was like a mechanic that got discontinued in 8th edition, right? Like, you didn't get tactical objectives in 9th, like, that wasn't even a thing. But that was one of the strats they still had, like, all the way through 9th, just because they didn't get a new book. So, yeah, you know, Codex Space Marines, Dante's jump pack. Yeah, okay. I mean, you're right. Dante is, I suppose, a jump pack Primaris. He's kind of the only one, I guess. I mean, Ultramarines weren't really covered in Codex Space Marines last time round, right? I mean, apart from like, hey, the one page talking about chapter tactics, that was it. They didn't really get anything beyond that, I guess, right? Did they announce an Ultramarines Codex along with, you know, when they posted the roadmap? Was that on the roadmap or no? They mention Ultramarines at all? The Shrike has a jump pack? Yeah, I mean, apart from 2 special characters. Yeah, okay, so there's 2 special characters, one of which just came out very recently that have jump packs. But, like, it's a bit weird to me that we still have no Primaris squads, really, with jump packs, I feel like. I feel like that's something that we would really benefit from. Ultramarines aren't getting a codex? Like, just period? They're not getting one? They can't make them wait all the way. They're making them wait again? Shucks, man. Are Grey Knights in Combat Patrol Box Primaris? I don't think any of the Grey Knight specific squads are Primaris at the moment, like Inceptors or I think they're Interceptors for Grey Knights. Like, they're not. None of those kits are Primaris yet, as far as I'm aware. If you ask me, Mephiston should just move 12 inches and fly because he can. I mean, that would certainly help keep up with other jump units. I think what will happen to Mephiston is there'll be... I think he will get, like, because he flies a lot in the lower. I think he will get some sort of way to fly in his data sheet. Whether or not it's super, like, competitively costed or not, I guess that's something we'll have to wait and see. But I do sort of expect Mephiston to be able to fly. It does beg the question, though, if Mephiston does get to fly, what happens to Librarian Dreadnought? Because as much as we all like flying Dreadnoughts, I'm not sure I feel like that's quite as believable. Like, Mephiston is definitely believable, right? Because he flies around a lot in the books. Uses the psychic energy to manifest, like, these red wings, right? But, like, a Dreadnought manifesting wings... I mean, it could happen. I'm just not sure it's quite as canonical? Is that the right word? Is that what I'm looking for? The only Primaris skill thing is Castle and Crow. Yeah, I don't think I know of any other Grey Knights that are at Primaris scale. I think they just had one character upgraded, right? That was it. Which, to be fair, was the same as Blood Angels until we just got Dante. We just had Mephiston upgraded and everything else was just still Firstborn. It's only really Black Templars that have had a big release of, like, multiple Primaris kits where they sort of got that Black Templar specific box with a bunch of, like, Primaris stuff inside. Invocatus flies, so should Mephiston. Invocatus is kind of an awesome model. He's a really good force multiplier for World Eaters. If you haven't played against him yet, he's a tough cookie. Like, his pre-game ability in 9th edition, like, where you can basically let 2 units move. I think they can move like 11 inches or something. It's like a double Forlorn Fury for free. It's just genuinely very scary and strong, I think. I hope they change the damage for Mephiston. Do you know, I have hoped for the longest time that they would change the damage of a Mephiston, but from what I'm seeing, and I could be wrong here, from what I'm seeing, a lot of the damage has become more random. Some damage has become, like, Custodes. I noticed in the Custodes preview, some of their weapons have become 3 damage. But, like, quite a lot of weapons seem to be, like, D6 plus 1 now. Maybe weapons that were before that were, like, I was going to say D3 plus 3 are now D6 plus 1. That's what I feel is happening. So, I think it's probably quite sane to expect a Psyker to still have a D3 damage weapon regardless, unless they make it D3 plus 1 maybe for Mephiston's weapon. That would be cool. Because yeah, the standard force weapon that they showed on the Librarian was just D3, right? So there's no real change on the standard force weapon as far as I'm aware. But yeah, maybe Mephiston deserves D3 plus 1. I guess only time will tell, right? Hey, Tonar, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. How are you? I really thought that, like, I think that's why we'll probably still see random damage, because I thought that, like, most other factions have, like, D3 plus 3 las cannons, and then most of the las cannons that they showed off, the Marine ones, were, what was it, D6 plus 1? On a... It's D6 plus 1 on a Land Raider, it's D6 plus 1 on that new Dreadnought, so... And I've been looking at the damage from other things, and there is, like... It does seem like D6 plus 1 is, like, pretty common now. So yeah, it's hard to say exactly what they're doing with damage, but I don't As much as I would maybe like to see Mephiston get a 3 damage weapon, I don't think he's gonna. I think it'll be D3 plus 1, or it'll just be D3. Probably the AP and the strength are the differentiating factors on Mephiston's weapon. Why are you worrying about the Dreadnought's lack of credibility to fly? Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, James, you make a good point. In the Emperor... Mephiston's sword being strength 10 used to be a psychic power in older editions, so that's already got made permanently active for free. That'll be interesting, actually, Mark. Maybe they'll put psychic as the type of Is it the type of damage, or is it the type of weapon? Maybe they'll put psychic on his sword. What does that actually mean, though? Because like when we were looking through the rulebook, I never actually saw. Maybe I missed it. I never actually saw like what exactly does psychic mean. You know, it was like devastating wounds means like on your 6s to wound they become mortals, and like, you know, sustained hits means 6s burst, and there's all these rules. But like the rulebook leak never showed precisely what just psychic means. They showed like what hazardous means, which is kind of part of psychic. But I don't think they showed exactly what psychic means. Psychic is just a keyword that has some minor interaction with other rules. Yeah, I mean, like, I know that, like, if you attach that librarian to a squad, you get, like, a 4-up feel no pain against psychic attacks, right? But, like, so psychic means nothing else? Some buffs target psychic weapons too. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, like, if we're getting a preview this week, what units, like, what do you want to see? Like, you want to see, like, Dante's new rules? You want to see Mephiston's new rules? You want to see the Death Company? I don't suppose it matters, because all the rules will be out inside like a month's time, right? But it'll give us a little bit of excitement. Bolter on side weapon on Impulsor, says Andwest. I'm not sure what you mean. Go and rephrase that. Reporting in. Good evening, Clint. How are you? I think for me, for Blood Angels, I'd want to see probably, I think either or Sandguard and Death Company, because I mean they're so core, and or like Ball Predator. I'm not sure how units joining the Death Company will work, because like in 8th edition a unit could join the Death Company and it was like a stratagem, and then in 9th it became like much more flexible with chapter command. I actually liked the chapter command system quite a lot, but I think the chapter command system's kind of gone, right? Like we're not going to have chapter command anymore, or... for Bloody Nose, I want to know the army-wide rule and the detachment rule. That's probably important, actually. Like, the detachment rule is going to be the big... That's the big one we do need to know, isn't it? You're probably right, James. Because, yeah, Sellers is bummed he loves Chapter Command. Yeah, I thought Chapter Command was quite a cool system, actually. Zachary just downloaded Bolt Gun. It's a fun game, Zachary. I want to play more of it. I really do want to play more of it. I feel like I was rocking on my first session, and then kind of towards the end of the session I kind of fell away, but give it another shot at some point. A lot of people keep telling me that I should give Battle Sector more time, or give Battle Sector another shot. I didn't dislike Battle Sector. I think I just enjoyed the Chaos Gate game more, but yeah. Usually when I'm upstairs, I'm just painting these guys. Should I put bolters as side weapons on the Impulsor? Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much other options, right? Like, if it's the actual Impulsor kit you've got, your side options are just bolters. It's only if you've bought like a Gladiator kit where you can use different side option weapons. So yeah, I think bolters are your only option for the sides of an Impulsor. Because it's got Stormbolter on each side, right? I don't know if we're getting to keep +1 to wound. I guess nobody does. I think +1 to wound would be super strong against the new like toughness, high toughness vehicles, which is probably why we're going to lose it. Which is kind of funny to talk about, because I've complained a lot that +1 to wound wasn't good at certain times in the meta. So probably now when it would be really good in the meta is when we're going to lose it. Oh well, there's nothing you can do about that, so the cookie crumbles, I guess. You could see +1 wound on a strat. Yeah, maybe that would be a strat. Which actually wouldn't be a bad strat to have, to be honest. Sounds like it would be pretty strong on a strat. You're playing Bolt Gun on the hardest difficulty, or you're not playing it on the hardest difficulty? The only reason to play it on the hardest difficulty probably is because it makes it gives you more. You get to play the game more. You know, you got to play the same levels. You got to get better. It's maybe cost effective to play the game on the hardest difficulty. But yeah, no, I'll play Bolt Gun again. I just don't know when. Alright, I think I'm happy-ish with this guy. Ah, fuck. Alright. I'm very good at spilling paint water. Oh, I've done that a few times. I was going to say, just as I finish saying that I'm happy with this guy's edge highlighting, happy-ish. You know, I'm gonna try and improve a tiny little bit of it. Not quite there with it yet. I'm close. Should I build 10 incursors and 10 infiltrators? I mean, I think so. They're the best troop choices. I've got 15 Sorry, no. I've got 15 incursors and 10 infiltrators. For a while there, incursors were best. For a while there, infiltrators was best. It's probably going to bounce between them again in the new edition, so... yeah, I mean, I would recommend that you have at least 10 of both, yeah. Yeah, you could also just start by buying one box and get 5 of both. That'd be a good place to start. I made all my incursors with beak heads. I wasn't a fan of their like half mask thing, so I made all my incursors with beak heads. I was actually really pleased with how they turn out. They're pretty cool. We don't often see I don't think you ever really see beak heads on Primaris models. But I would, if you're looking for a different helmet for incursors, I think they look good. I think the beaks look really good on the heads. That's funny. Everybody's like, I hate incursor heads. Yeah, they're not the greatest, are they? Those half mask things. Is this Death Company? It will be, yeah. I'm doing 5 of these guys. This guy is, I mean, he's Death Company, but he was in the Death Watch, and he was also in the Sangre Guard, and that he's still got his death mask on. Just something custom I thought would look cool or to give him a little bit of differentiation between some of the other Death Company squads I've done. Alright, but I mean, this guy, I'm basically gonna just do this tiny little bit of edge highlighting here, and then I'm just moving on, because I'm not the greatest at edge highlighting. It's never gonna be perfect. At some point I'm gonna move on. I think I'm there. I think I'm ready to move on. Given the character attachment for the new edition, will big squads make a comeback? I mean, they might. I was thinking about this. They might and they might not, because it might depend on like objective control. Like a lot of it might depend on objective control, because if a big squad fails leadership and a big squad, I was going to say, will the big squad have more potential to fail, or is the exact same odds as the small squad? If you fail leadership on a big squad, that possibly hurts more. But then another thing they said is, like, you can now spend 1 CP after you've failed your leadership test or your battle shot test to basically pass it. So that's interesting as well, because before you had to always spend 2 CP and you had to do it before you made the roll. Whereas now it's like you can make the roll, then realise like, oh shit, I actually really need to pass this. I'll just spend 1 CP and pass it. So I'm not entirely sure if big squads or smaller squads are going to be better. I definitely think there's going to be some sort of a meta that emerges there. What it is I don't know. Do I have any other armies bar Blood Angels? Yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of stuff for some other armies, but I have literally no time to focus on them. I haven't spent any time on them in... Well, I've been doing this channel 3 years and I've pretty much spent no time on them since I started doing this channel, so... Really, the way I see it is I'm a mono-faction player, I only play Blood Angels. Maybe in 5 years' time, if I ever finished all the Blood Angels I had, I'll paint or work on some of the other channels. I get 2 kids, man, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, so it's kind of hard to get time to do more than one army. A Gaming Stuka says I'm trying to settle on what chapter to collect. Well, you should collect Blood Angels, dude, because I don't think there's any other big YouTube channels that focus on a single faction. There was one guy that does... there's a guy that focuses on Necrons. I forget the name of his channel, but I'm sure someone in the chat will know. And there's a guy called The Red Path who focuses on World Eaters. Makes sense, right? The Red Path. So the two channels that have people that dedicated to them are either the Red Marines, the Red Loyalists, or the Red Heretics. And I think I'm not a traitor. Don't be a traitor. IDIC Beer is the Necrons guy. Yeah, I've seen some of his videos. He does a lot of he does all the Necron content, I guess. Alright, this is going to do for me here in a second. I'm going to get some washes on these 4 Death Company that I'm working on. And basically say, like, the edge highlighting isn't perfect, but it's done. Thank God it's done. I'm ready to move on. Isn't Valrak an Imperial Fist player? Yeah, but the Valrak, as far as I'm aware, doesn't do tactics-based content, right? I guess what I was meaning for content that's going to help you win games on the tabletop. That's what I do. That's like the best thing that I do. I just haven't been able to... Well, I say I haven't been able to do it much recently. I could have done it. I could have continued doing it for 9th edition. It just felt kind of pointless. Because 9th edition was basically over. So I haven't done too much content on like how to win games in 9th edition in the last 2 months. But as soon as 10th starts, for me that's like a reset. I can make every video I've ever made again with the new information, and I can figure it all out. So yeah, consider picking Blood Angels. If you've not done it, you should do it. Plus we have a lot of awesome people that are in the community that will help as well with questions and stuff like that. The community on Discord is giant. I mean, we've got a big Facebook group community as well, but the Discord community is pretty giant too. Thousand Suns was going to be my second army. I already bought a bunch of stuff for it. Like, I bought a bunch of Thousand Sun stuff when Kill Team first came out, because I was making a Thousand Sun Kill Team. And because I bought a bunch of stuff for that, I figured that that would be my second army. So I have like 1,000 points of 1,000 Suns, and it's all in the boxes, bar like 10 of the models are built, the rest is all brand new on sprue. I do think though that my my playstyle for, like, I like playing fast moving armies that are like very mobile, because that's what I'm totally used to with Blood Angels. So I think like if I actually wanted to really think about doing a second army, I think like I'd be probably more likely to enjoy something like Drukhari as opposed to Thousand Suns. Mark says there's a good Craft World Eldari channel that he follows. Yeah, so I guess in terms of there is a few channels out there doing like mono faction stuff. So regardless, if you're going to start 40k, I would say pick a channel that pick a faction that's got someone that's doing the stuff, because that way it'll just give you a leg up, just help you out getting started. Alright, I'm just going to call that edge highlighting done. I think I might see something I don't like and have to fix it, but I mean, when you're picking your paint scheme, you can make up your own scheme. You don't have to copy Games Workshop one. I mean, I certainly don't copy the Games Workshop one. There's so many ways to paint Blood Angels, like so many ways. There's probably loads of tutorials on YouTube for interesting ways that are probably arguably better than the Games Workshop ways, because if you really want to break it down, I don't know if, like, when I watch, like, there's a few videos on YouTube of Games Workshop, like Battle Ready Sangre Guard or Battle Ready this and that, and like I don't necessarily think I love, like, I'm not in love with any of the ways Games Workshop paint Blood Angels. Maybe the old way they painted them, like in the 90s, yeah, but the modern way of painting Blood Angels, I'm certainly not in love with what Games Workshop are doing. People also say if you're gonna pick a faction, you need to do or you're gonna pick a race or whatever, you need to do a test model. Try and get like a cheap intercessor off. If you're doing Marines, get like a cheap intercessor off eBay. I'm sure you can find an intercessor for a couple of quid, and get your color. Do a test. Get your color scheme on him. Take it from there, right? I feel like that's what I would recommend. GW always use like 40 paints. They do use a lot, but I mean, the more detailed you go in the schemes, the more paints you tend to use. So, I actually think it's kind of daunting sometimes for newer people when they see how many paints GW use. So, like, most of my Blood Angels, I would say, are a lot simpler. I would say they're simpler and the effects on them are fine. Alright, I think I'm happy finally. Maybe one more tiny bit on the feet and I'm done with. Right, washes. So I got 4 of these guys to do the washes on. I think it's this one, this one, this one, and this one. I think this is the one that I finished earlier. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna use Null Oil first. GW don't paint their feet. Yeah, I paint all the feet, man. I'm an idiot. I don't drill my barrels though. Some people get very upset that I don't drill barrels, but I paint feet. I paint undersides of tanks. I even put transfers on the bottom of my Terrax, just because like sometimes in a battle the Terrax might get turned over, and I was like, yeah, I gotta put transfers on the bottom, right? So, yeah. I'm gonna use a different brush for Null Oil. What should I got? I want like an accurate brush, but it doesn't have to be very good in it. This one might be okay for Null Oil. It might change, we'll see. Everyone's got their own way. I mean, that's what I would try and emphasize. Everyone's doing their own thing in their own way, so I think doing a test model is important, and I think writing down some of the colors that you do with your test model. Like, I think when I first started coming back to the hobby, I wrote down a lot of stuff. Like, hey, you know, this is the scheme that I'm focused on. Once you've painted like 100 models the same way, I feel like you don't necessarily need to refer to your test text or anything like that. But I feel like when you're just coming back and you're trying to figure out colors or a style, then I think it is important to try and maybe write down like you know, the paints that you used or what order you used them in and stuff like that, because otherwise you're never going to remember. Plus, if you do, like with Blood Angels, if you paint a bunch of red guys and then go on to like Sangri Guard and you're going to paint 30 Sangri Guard and that takes you 3 months or something, you're going to come back and be like, oh shit, what did I use on these guys, or what did I do for these eyes? And So this brush is a little bigger than I would like it to be, but I just try and take my time, and if the wash flows out of the recesses too much, I can mop it up. I'm going to do all the armor joints. I'll also do I was going to say the grips on the Thunderhammer. I might even do this this rope here on their legs. Most of them have this rope stuff on their legs. I haven't used all that many contrast paints, honestly. I use a couple of them here and there, but they're not something that I've used in any, I was going to say, extensively in any way, shape or form. I actually only own one contrast paint, and it's the Blood Angels Red, which, if you ask me, is more like a Flesh Tearers Red than Blood Angels. But maybe that's just, I was going to say, it's probably because I think Games Workshop paint Blood Angels red. They use Mephiston red as like the main colour, whereas I kind of use Evil Sun Scarlet as the main colour, which is just a little like a degree brighter or whatever. Half Corn, half Mephiston base. I don't actually own Corn Red, which is funny actually, because like I own a lot of red paints. I probably own like 5 or 6 different red paints, but I don't think I've owned a Corn Red paint. You know, we've had a few people talking about making the switch from Space Wolves to Blood Angels this edition. I don't know if I necessarily agree with the fact that their lore is boring, but I do feel like Blood Angels are better, cooler, something like that, I guess. I need Lead Belcher. It's fairly close to Mephiston Red. Oh man, another one of these pots has got gunked up. God damn it, I hate these Citadel pots. If they ever gave the option to buy the Citadel paint, look at all that wasted paint. If they ever give all the option to buy the Citadel paints in dropper bottles, even if it was like £1 more a bottle or something, or equivalent, I guess if you're in America it would be like $1 more a bottle. I would honestly just buy, every time I'm getting a new paint I would just buy it in a dropper bottle. You just waste a lot less, and it's just more convenient, and you don't get frustrated when it goes all gunked up. Anyone pick up the Blood Angels 8 hero pack? What's the 8 hero pack, sorry? Could you transfer them to dropper bottle? Yeah, I mean, I just don't know if I have the time or the energy to do that. I assume that you just do it with a funnel of sorts, but I've never done it myself. The random boxes. I didn't get like when they did the random Terminator boxes, I got quite a few of the random Terminators, but I didn't get any of the random Firstborn stuff. That, like, I know there was some random Firstborn stuff recently. I didn't pick up any of that yet. I have a lot of Firstborn Marines, so arguably I probably don't need to pick up any Firstborn stuff. But when they did the random Terminator boxes, they were pretty cool. You got some really unique looking Terminators in there. Just try and paint from a different range. You know what? I did buy some paints from a different range. I bought Duncan's paint. Where is it? I thought it was on my desk. Maybe I put it somewhere. No, it is on my desk. Look. I bought Duncan's one, this one. So this was supposed to match Evil Sunz Scarlet. In my opinion, it doesn't match it, and because it doesn't match it, I'm not using it. Let me see if I can put it next to it and you'll see. Right? There's a little bit of... Oh, this is even blocked. Look at that. I didn't even know these sort of droppers could get blocked. Oh, it's completely blocked. Oh. I was gonna say, do I have a pin or a needle or something that I could unblock it with? Maybe this? I'll say it's completely blocked. It's not a good advertisement. Because I've had other... I was going to say, I've had other paints with dropper bottles that have never got blocked. Maybe it's a bad type of nozzle. Paperclip time? Yeah, I'm just trying to think if I've got a paperclip anywhere. I don't think I do. I do know what, I do have some paperclips. Maybe I can get it with a toothpick. I've got a toothpick here. Maybe this would work. Oh yeah, maybe this will work. Yeah, okay. So that's what... So this paint was supposed to match Evil Sunz Scarlet. That's why I bought it, because I would have liked to get one that matches, right? So let's... You can see that there. That's 2 thin coats Demon Red. And then Evil Sunz Scarlet, which is what I use for basically all my Blood Angels. Everything I paint Blood Angels wise is like basically got some Evil Sunz Scarlet on it in some way, shape or form. There's Evil Sunz Scarlet next to it. It's not close, man. Or at least when I did it, I felt like it wasn't close. I feel like someone said not to dilute the 2 thin coats last time. Well, that's not diluted, that was just squirted right out of the bottle, right? Look, I've put a bit of water in the Evil Sun there. Still think it's a degree darker. But yeah, no, I use the Vallejo white. I've used this white for ages. Vallejo model color. These are really good paints. Any news on Dante? No, nothing. Nothing. Nothing indeed, man. I don't know when the hell I'm getting Dante is the news. GW have a massive amount of pigment in them. Is that why? I mean, if I found another color set that matched Games Workshop, is you know, if it matched it pretty closely, and it was in dropper bottles, I would buy it. I mean, I'll probably do it. Like, I'll probably buy another brand of paint at some point. I'll try and color match a couple of colors that I'm doing. If they're super close, then maybe I'll move to dropper bottles, because you do get a lot of waste in the Citadel bottles, and they always get clogged, and then they always don't close properly. So I've got no love for the current Citadel bottles, really. I know a lot. I would say like 90% of the paint I use is Citadel, but it doesn't. It's just because I've always used it. It's not like I love it in any way, shape or form, I guess. I actually bought some spray from another company this week, so I was going to try and use that and maybe make like a review on it. But yeah, over time I'll keep trying other brands of paint. I mean, if I'm trying another brand, it needs to be, the reason I'd be doing it would be because it's in a dropper bottle, and I feel like the stuff in dropper bottles is just better. I'm actually really surprised Games Workshop don't offer dropper bottles. I don't know why they wouldn't. I really don't know why they wouldn't. Because we hear that same feedback a lot, right? People are like, the Games Workshop pots suck. We want our paints in dropper bottles. So I don't necessarily know why they don't just do that. Make everybody happy, right? Colorforge, yes. Colorforge spray. I've not tried it yet. It only arrived today. I'm probably going to try it when the can compared to the Games Workshop can is much bigger, and it was cheaper as well, so I mean there's that. But I'm going to probably try it when I either make my Brutalis Dreadnought or Desolation Marines, or some of the stuff that's in the 10th edition starter box. So I'm ready to. I've got the stuff that I need to get that shit sprayed, I guess, as soon as it comes. I'm going to need to do some transfers on these guys as well, though. So as much as good as it will be to hit these guys with a wash, I guess I'm not going to be able to get them finished tonight, because every time I'm painting, though, on the live stream, I look at the clock thinking, like, I must have been going for like an hour, and I've almost been going for 2 hours, and it's almost midnight. It's like, it's annoying. Time flies too quickly when I'm painting on stream. I'm going to do a little bit extra. I normally stop at midnight. I actually got a really good sleep last night, which is unheard of with 2 children at the age that I've got them, so I'm going to just go for a little bit longer tonight, I think. Normally my eyes start glazing over at midnight, like I find it hard to see. If they don't start glazing over, I'll just keep painting for a little bit longer tonight. Yeah, I'd be super happy if they did the Games Workshop paints in dropper bottles, though, honestly. People ask me like what am I most excited about for 10th edition. That would be super exciting. I hate how easy it is to get those paint pots gunked up without even trying. Like it just always seems to happen. But yeah, no, I'll at some point I'll buy some other brands and I'll try and match the colors probably again. Like if Games Workshop don't do it, I'll just buy some other brands. There's other brands that are trying to match the colors as well, right? So I can give them a whirl. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I'll stick with the Games Workshop stuff. I was gonna say, like, tomorrow night, normally on a Sunday night, I do the Army List show, right? I do actually have one singular list that has been submitted this week. So I might cover that list. I think I probably will cover that list, but I was gonna say, going forward, I don't really know what's happening with Army List show. I guess, like, it's not gonna... There's not really going to be that much of a show for like 2-3 weeks till we get the 10th edition release, and then the Army List show will explode again when everybody has their new 10th edition rules, 10th edition codex rules to like submit Army Lists from. Dylan's got a list for a 500 point. You don't need to send it to me, you just need to put it in the comment for any of my YouTube videos. Right? Like, as a new comment, not like a reply to an existing comment. Just put it in as a new comment, and then it pops up in my inbox like new comment, and I can add it to the show. Is it a boarding actions list? Well, maybe we'll have 2 lists for tomorrow night. Green stuff paints? I've never bought any of them. Have they got a GW color match card as well, or not really? Yeah, I think I just bought like the 2 thin coats paint because I figured, well, one, I would like to support Duncan because I watched a lot of Duncan's videos and always sort of got some value out of them and stuff. But the other one, I really expected Duncan's paints to really match the GW colors because, like, I guess he worked for GW for like a long time. I was expecting them to be like really close matches. But I guess maybe the one I picked is like the worst match or something, I don't know. think Tony uses quite a lot of pro acrylic paints. Right. He's sort of washed. I was going to say, has this guy got a belt? Yeah, I didn't wash his belt because I'm an idiot, so I'll do that just now. I don't like how thin pro acrylics are, says Turkey. I find it easier to thin paints down. Yeah, I'm quite used to thinning paints down, I guess. Sometimes I find if they're too thin, it's hard to be accurate because the paint runs too much as well. I don't know if that's a problem with... Maybe it's not, but yeah, when I'm painting, I always find that like there's a fine line between the paint being too thin, and then it's like if it's too thin, it's just hard to control exactly where it flows or how you move it, I guess. Right, god damn it, it's like 11:58 and like literally on point. My left eye just went like, okay, now I'm just gonna start fuzzing over. Alright, well I'm gonna do a little bit more anyway. Yeah, now these two paints have dried, or almost dried. Like, there's a big difference between those two paints, if you ask me. Like, the one on the left isn't even close to Evil Sun Scarlet. So if you're trying to like colour match an army, you've got to be very careful with third-party paints. If they say they match, you need to do a test and make sure you feel like they do match. Because that doesn't feel like a match to me at all. Oh. I was gonna say it's like by this time next week it'll be June though, and then there'll literally be no time at all before we're into 10th edition. I think I'm expecting 10th edition to be towards the end of June, like the release, but like it's all rumors, so no one, I don't think anyone really knows 100% when 10th might be coming. Just the rumors are all pointing towards a release near the end of the month. One of the hosts of the streams. Which stream? Like an official GW stream, or like a tournament stream or something? Said the 23rd. Hey Ben, how you doing? You caught me again at the, well, I wouldn't say at the very end, but it's close to the very end. Just went past midnight here, so best case I've got like 20-30 more minutes, I think. Worst case, like 10 minutes. What's mad is this is going to be the first squad of Thunderhammer Death Company I actually have like fully completed and painted, considering how many times I've run these guys in tournaments and stuff. There's been a lot of, like, I guess, battle ready fieldings of these guys, like a lot. Ben, you've got 4 kids, dude. Congratulations. P.S. You're crazy. I have 2 kids, and I feel like that's insane. Like, absolutely insane. 2 kids. I can't imagine anyone having more than 2 kids. Good for you, man. I don't know how you have your sanity, because I don't think I would be sane if I had 4 kids. But yeah, you do you. Did I paint the... I did paint. I was going to say, did I paint the grip on the hammer on that other guy that I just finished? Yeah. Must be getting late at night. I'm like forgetting what I'm painting. Doesn't matter. I mean, well, at least you're honest, Ben. Sounds accurate. I mean, I can't even control it. I've only got 2 in. Since I can't even remember what happened today. I think one of my kids punched the other one today. We had to go into timeout, like when we're out in public, and that's always fun. So, yeah, the joys. We just went over that last week as well. I was like, we don't punch anyone in this house. We don't hit anyone in this house. Repeat after me, we don't hit anyone. The first time we're out in public again, and it's like, bang. I think the older one punched the younger. It wasn't even a soft punch, it was like proper punch. Like, great. Here's a question for the people that were considering Blood Angels as their first army or changing to Blood Angels. Why are Death Company so cool? Because they do look cool, don't they? I hate edge highlighting Death Company, but I love how they look when you get them to this sort of state. I am even a good painter. Death Company are heroic. We know they're risking it all and not coming back. Yeah, maybe that's why they're so cool sellers. Good answer. I mean, I actually think they don't have much left to risk once they're Death Company, though, really, right? Wolfton says you should have been one of the first channels to get the free Dante from GW. It's funny how they do send those out, Wolfton, because they just want to send out people who do amazing paint jobs. Like that's how it gets distributed. You know, or at least that's how I feel like it gets distributed. Like, I don't think they care too much about like tactics channels like mine, or at least that's the impression I get. I'm not. But then, I mean, it is a good point. Like, if they're just sending them out to get advertisement or whatnot, I'm sure I would have done a pretty good video if I'd had an early Dante, you know, and it would have got views and it would have got traction. So it's a weird one. I guess I got to live with the fact that I didn't get one, and I've still got mine on pre-order. I'll get them eventually, I guess. But no, thanks for the support, Wolfton. I appreciate it. I'm not gonna lie, it has been a little bit frustrating not getting one, especially when I tried to get them ordered in pre-order morning, you know? Brian got his Dante. Congrats, Brian. I'm jealous. I hope he's a fun model to build. Well, not just build, I suppose, paint too, right? If I'd hype Dante more, they would be even it would be even more out of stock. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think I have that much reach, to be honest. So I guess if Games Workshop thought I had loads of reach, they would have sent me a Dante, right? Dante seems smaller than I thought he would be. I mean, I guess he's just as far as I'm aware, he's just Primaris Marine, right? So like Primaris Marines aren't typically that much bigger than Firstborn. Like maybe somewhere in the region of like 15 to 20%. I originally thought when I first saw him he was maybe wearing Gravis armor, but I don't think he is. I think he's just wearing like, well, it would be Artificer armor, wouldn't it? Brad says your videos and live battle reports are what gets me excited about playing. Brad, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. I never know, like, there's a lot of different people that like a lot of the different things that I do, so it's always nice to hear from somebody that I haven't really spoken too much, like what they enjoy about the channel, because yeah, without you guys' feedback it's hard for me to know what to improve or what to change or anything like that, so I appreciate it. Thank you, Brad. Alright, I'm gonna have to go to bed in a few minutes. It's an unfortunate reality, but it's gonna have to happen. The Death Company will have to be... These are like... These 5 guys are never ending. They will end. I will get them finished. They're creeping ever closer every single stream. I'm working on these Death Company. I've been working on them for a while. They're sort of getting close. I don't know how many more hours that I need to finish them, like... What am I still planning on doing on these guys, like... maybe a little bit of washing on the gold. Maybe a little bit of like clean up here and there on bits of... I was gonna say all the purity seals probably need another coat of paint on them. Yeah, I don't know if I can like 2-3 hours to finish all these guys now. Maybe seems like a reasonable estimate. I'm very bad at estimating how much time I need to finish models. Sometimes I'm like, oh, if I could get 2 hours today, I could finish them, and then I get 2 hours, and I'm like, man, I didn't make any progress. Or it would make some progress, just not enough, I guess. Right. What intricate detail to do on Death Company. Hey Alien Phoenix, how are you? You caught me just as I was basically like winding down. Tired. Eyes are tired. I'm tired of painting these 5 Death Company. This is why I don't edge highlight anyone that I paint in red. Because when I edge highlight them, it just takes so bloody long. If I paint them in red or gold, I just wash them all the way over. I really don't do any sort of edge highlighting on that. Alright, that's 3 of them with a sort of, I'd say it's like a half-finished coat of Null Oil. I think I'm going to be back tomorrow night. I think I'll do a couple of army lists tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll do a couple of army lists. I think I've got 2. And then I might paint for an hour and just get some more washes done on the Death Company. I do really want to get these guys finished. Probably try and get them finished this week so I can either go on to Chain Fist Terminators, which I think are going to be really good, or that Laser Destroyer. Is it true we're getting chapter specific indexes next week? I think we're getting our faction preview next week. I don't know anything about actually getting the indexes. I think we're just getting a faction preview, which will be like that 1-page article that Games Workshop have been sharing. I mean, it should be cool to get the faction preview, but I don't think it'll give us as many answers as it gives us questions. Or, like, for every answer the faction preview gives us, it'll give us another question, yeah? Sellers is building a new army of 12 Blade Guard. And you've got 6 more coming. I was going to buy more Blade Guard, man. I've got 1 more to paint, and I pre-ordered that company, the Primaris Company Champion, so I have him coming. So with him coming, that gives me I can give him one of my Spear Storm Shields, so I could have 10 Blade Guard ready. 10 Blade Guard could be pretty interesting. I'm going to wait until I see the Blade Guard rules, because I had thought I was just going to buy 3 more Blade Guard now. I'm going to wait until I see the rules. And I'm also, the more I see other rules, the more I worry about Land Raiders, you know that? Because it feels like every week we're seeing like a strength 24 gun with -5 AP getting released. There's a shitload of strength 24 guns with -5 AP, then Land Raiders suddenly become like way less popular for me. Thanks Marcus, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna head to bed guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow night. We'll look at a couple of army lists, we'll look at and then we'll look at as many army lists as we have, and then so it'll be a random stream tomorrow night, but hopefully some of you guys will catch us tomorrow night. The thing I want to see is the rules for the Judiciar. Interesting, yeah. Well, we know there's no fight last anymore, so maybe the Judiciar will join a squad and you'll make the squad fight first. That could be cool. If that is true, then maybe I'll have to build the other Judiciar from Indomit's box set, because I only built 1 of them. Never got around to building the second one that I had. But building the second one could actually be really good. Alright, enjoy your evening, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch some of you tomorrow night. Hit a like on the stream before you leave if you wouldn't mind. And yeah, this Friday is the video about the Leviathan box set and my opinions on it for Blood Angels, so keep an eye out for that as well. Cool. Alright, take care. Good evening.